Next item is item number 17, application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan, docket number 14-4092, block 1122, lot 22, 11 West 69th Street in the Upper West Side, Central Park West Historic District. A neo-Renaissance style apartment building designed by Leo F. Knust and built in 1927 to 28. This is an application to establish a master plan governing the future replacement of windows.
Before you is for the establishment of a master plan governing the future replacement of double-hung aluminum front facade windows. This 9-story apartment building, which you see out there, is located on the north side of West 69th Street between Central Park West and West End Avenue. Historically, the primary facade windows consisted of multi-light double-hung 6/1 windows, and this condition is shown in the tax photographs of 1938-1940. But all of these were removed and replaced with 1/1 double-hung aluminum windows prior to designation in 1990. The applicant is here today to request to replace the existing windows with 1/1 double-hung aluminum windows with a dark painted finish and a profiled aluminum brick mold. And the project architect, Rick Kramer, is here today to present the project.
Okay. Thank you.
I had the honor to hopefully present the shortest presentation ever at Landmark.
That's
This is my presentation.
Do it.
I can talk about 2.5 hours of architectural issues.
No.
The beauty is it's a handsome building. It's located mid-block. The building architect was Frederick Knust. It's a handsome building but doesn't have significant historic value. Our presentation respectfully asked to maintain the 1/1 divided light for a couple of important reasons. Number one, a number of shareholders have been brought together to do a master plan window replacement. We have about 75% cooperation. During this process, in the next 6 months, 75% of the windows will all be replaced. The building will essentially look exactly as it looks now, with the historical profile around the window. The problem is if we go to a 9/1 window, those windows are about $200 or $300 more per window. And a number of shareholders at that price point, when you add up the number of windows, can't afford to replace windows. We inevitably will have a building at that point, which will be a 50-50 mix of 9/1 windows and 1/1 windows. While in the long-term goal would have historic relevance to be 9/1, realistically, it will never happen. The building will stay at 50-50 or 60% slowly over 20-year increments, going to 9/1. In my opinion, I believe respectfully the building is better served remaining a 1/1 window, which was its condition when it was designated as part of the historic district. Again, 1/1 windows are consistent throughout the building, throughout the block. Again, before and after. You know, we can go through the historic.
Go back to the, okay, thank you.
We have a very minor change back to a historic profile on the outside. I think it brings things more in keeping with the original character of the building.
I'm sorry, I might have missed it. Did you mention that these are, the existing are replacement windows?
Yes.
When were they installed?
When the building was converted in the late 80s.
Converted to co-ops.
replacement windows. So it's time to go through the effort. Our concern is just if we come to a point where we have a mix of, a melange of not 6/1 and 1/1. It would be different if I felt, as the building architect and working with landmarks in general, that there was something important to keep something traditional either on the block or consistently within the neighborhood. I wouldn't suggest keeping them as 1/1, but I feel it benefits the building and it doesn't, it's not a detriment to the neighborhood. That was longer than I needed to make it, so it should have been short.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions? Testimony? Barbara Zay, please, thank you. Barbara Zay?
Barbara Zay of the Historic Districts Council. 11 West 69th Street has long been without its distinctive 9/1 windows, but a master plan is a chance to return the building closer to its historic appearance. Bringing back the original design, or even some variation of it, would be a wonderful enhancement, returning neo-Renaissance style features to this otherwise rather plain building. HDC finds the 1/1 aluminum windows proposed lacking in the detail and character that this building deserves, and we ask that the master plan not be approved. Thank you.
Okay, Kelly, Carol?
Kelly Carroll, Landmark West. Little is known about architect Leo Knust other than the 5 buildings he designed in the Upper West Side in the late 1920s. Of these, only one building at 1296th Street retains its original 6/1 window configuration. Like many large apartment buildings in the Upper West Side Central Park Historic District, 11 West 69th Street relies heavily on its windows for its overall aesthetic. The architect's original neo-Renaissance design consisted of a decorative finish of multi-paned 6/1 windows, speaking to an era of when apartment buildings employed smaller, multi-paned glass configurations. Unfortunately, this building's original windows have all been replaced with aluminum, and the proposal seeks to set the standard to replace all future windows with just that. The committee supports master plans for windows, as these plans can be a positive step to ensure future fenestration regularity. However, the committee remains concerned regarding what threatens to become a sadly missed opportunity to replace non-original, double-hung aluminum windows with windows that more closely replicate the multi-paned windows that originally graced this building. We hope that the commissioners can work with the building to correct these pre-designation insensitive window replacements. We recommend that the master plan restore the building's original window configuration. Regularizing this window pattern by this method, instead of one that contradicts the original design intent, would greatly improve the appearance of the building overall. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Robert Apfel?
Thank you. My name is Robert Apfel, and I have lived at 11 West 69th Street with my wife Jill for the last 16 years, since 1998. I have been on the board for all of these years and have been board president for most of them. For as long as we have been residents at the building, there have only been double-hung windows, 1/1. I understand that our building now has the same double-hung windows as existed at the time our district was designated by Landmarks Commission in or about 1990. We believe that replacing these windows with new double-hung windows would be consistent with the appearance of the building and would not have any adverse impact on any of its features. It also appears that double-hung windows predominate for the buildings on our block. In addition, we believe that replacing some of these windows with divided light windows would result in a hodgepodge of windows and would likely detract from the building's overall appearance. Lastly, the additional costs of divided light windows would likely discourage some of the residents who are now inclined to change their windows, and would also be a financial hardship for some residents, as Mr. Morcelli will testify to. For all of these reasons, we respectfully request that the master plan be approved. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you very much. Evandro Morcelli? Right. Let's put the super in there.
My name is Evandro Morcelli, and I have lived at 11 West 69th Street with my wife Lilia, who is also here today for the last 24 years, since 1990. I have also been a board member for the past 10 years. For as long as we have been residents at the building, there have only been double-hung windows. We are both retired and live on a fixed income. There would be an additional cost if divided light windows were required instead of double-hung windows. The increase in cost would be approximately $250 to $300 per window. This would be a financial hardship for us. In addition, a mix of double-hung windows and divided light windows would take away from the nice appearance of the building. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today.
All right, thank you very much. And is there other testimony? Community Board 7's Preservation Committee disapproved the replacement window master plan proposal for 1/1 windows for the primary street-facing facade, but approves the 1/1 window configuration for the secondary facades. Okay, anything you'd like to add or comment based on what was said in the testimony? Anything more? Okay, discussion.
In the past, my recollection is that in most cases where we have solid evidence of a multi-pane window and in a master plan situation like this, where the multi-pane windows significantly were a significant part of the original design of the building, we've generally, not always, but almost always, voted for restoring them, and I think that's a good thing. I think that I understand that they're a few $100 more, and I think that in an all co-op building on the Upper West Side, where property values in my last check were not particularly sorry and low, that the co-op could figure out a way to subsidize that few $100s for those who might have a hardship, and that I would imagine the majority of folks could do it, and that more important than that, I think it's our job here to take the long view, especially with a master plan. Yes, there will be a hodgepodge appearance for a number of years, but I think that is worth trading for the eventual restoration of the original intent of the building, which will, I think, contribute significantly to the district. So I would vote for the 6/1s.
I think I agree with Michael, although I guess one of the issues that I was imagining was that without a subsidy of some sort, that given the general poor quality of aluminum replacement windows, that by the time you actually got through with the 6/1s, it would be time for those first people who did it to replace them again. That said, I actually would not refuse to entertain the possibility of going back to the multi-light over single on the principal facade and going with the 1/1s on the secondary facades.
Joan, I think that sounds
that's a
sensible.
reasonable,
Yeah.
That's a reasonable solution.
Yes.
To do that.
I could support that solution as well as a compromise.
I would also support that solution.
Okay, so I'll do a resolution. We're going to do here. Okay. Approval with modifications. Here we go. Certificate of Appropriateness, 11 West 69th, Upper West Side Historic District, Upper West Side Central Park West Historic District. Neo-Renaissance style apartment building designed by Leo Knust, built in 1927. Recommend approval with modifications, finding that on the front facade, the proposed 1/1 double-hung windows will not match the approval of a master plan with modifications, will not match the configuration of the original multi-light windows or the fenestration found in other similar and period apartment buildings found in the historic district, that this building lacks a large amount of decoration, and that the original 6/1 window configuration is a character-defining issue of the front facade, that the proposed window master plan would Nope, let's see. And therefore recommend that the applicant revise with the staff, proposed window configuration at the front facade to reflect the original multi-light 6/1 double-hung design, and 1/1 on all the other facades as we've discussed here today. Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approved. Thank you, with that compromise.
So Commissioners, we're going to go back to formally vote on the previous item. This is item number 17, application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan, docket number 14-4092, block 1122, lot 22, 11 West 69th Street in the Upper West Side, Central Park West Historic District. And this was an application to establish a master plan governing the future replacement of windows, and the motion was to approve it with modifications.
That's right. And I brought that motion forward to approve with modifications, finding that the proposed 1/1 double-hung windows will not match the configuration of the original multi-light windows or the fenestration found in other similar style and period apartment buildings found in the historic district, that the building lacks a large amount of decoration, and that the original 6/1 window configuration is a character-defining feature of the front facade. And we also find that the applicant, we also recommend that the applicant will revise the proposed window configuration at the front facade to reflect the original multi-light 6/1 double-hung design, and the other three facades will be, other facades and remaining facades will be 1/1. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's approved. Thank you.
Sorry.